If you believe that the actors from what is probably the most influential K-drama in history, Boys Over Flowers, went on to live perfect lives full of fame, wealth, and happiness, you are sorely mistaken. The drama that conquered the world in 2009 changed the destiny of its protagonists, but not all of them lived happily ever after. Some got lost in scandals, others were forgotten, and only one established himself as a true icon in 2025. Stay with me as I tell you exactly what happened to the actors of Boys Over Flowers in 2025. When we think of Boys Over Flowers, it's impossible not to remember Koo Hee-sun in the role of the brave Gyum Jandi. She was the heart of the story, the ordinary girl who won the prince and made millions of fans believe in the power of love. After the tremendous success of the drama in 2009, everyone believed the actress would have a brilliant career in Korean television. For a while, it seemed this would be confirmed. She acted in various dramas until 2017, in addition to venturing into cinema, music, and even as a writer and visual artist. But reality was very different from expectations. Despite so much effort, most of Koo Hee-sun's projects didn't receive the same reception as Boys Over Flowers. Some dramas had disastrous ratings and were considered failures, gradually dimming the shine she had earned. As if that weren't enough, her personal life began to draw more attention than her career. Her marriage to actor Ahn Jae-hyun in 2016 was followed by fans like a fairy tale, but soon transformed into one of Korea's biggest scandals. The divorce was public and full of mutual accusations. She was described by part of the press as controlling and manipulative, while he was accused of coldness and negligence. The wear and tear was so great that the actress's image crumbled before the public. Today, in 2025, Koo Hae-sun has practically disappeared from screens. She still dedicates herself to personal projects related to art, but no longer has space in the stardom that was once hers. For many, her story is proof of how fleeting fame can be, and how a personal choice can change the course of an entire career. When Boys Over Flowers aired, many bet that Kim Hyun-jung, the interpreter of the sweet and romantic Yoon Ji-hoo, would surpass even Lee Min-ho in fame. With his melancholic gaze and perfect prince aura, he quickly won hearts inside and outside Korea. Shortly after the series ended, he starred in Playful Kiss, a drama that spread worldwide and consolidated his image as a rising star. Critics believed he would be the next great heartthrob of the Hallyu wave, but reality took another turn. In 2014, a twist destroyed his reputation. An ex-girlfriend accused him of assault and abuse during their relationship. The scandal was reported on all entertainment portals and caused his Prince Charming image to be completely tarnished. For years, Kim Hyun-jung was at the center of a legal battle, facing accusations, lawsuits, compensations, and a flood of hatred from the public. Although in 2020, the Korean justice system gave him victory in part of the legal disputes, the damage was already done. He lost contracts, fans, and opportunities that could have kept his career at its peak. Even so, Kim Hyun-jung never gave up. He clung to music as a form of resistance, releasing albums, doing shows, and maintaining a loyal audience, especially outside Korea. In 2025, the actor and singer is beginning to show signs of recovery. He's already planning a return to screens, something that seemed impossible years ago. Although he still carries the shadow of scandals, his talent and charisma remain undeniable. If Koo Hae-sun symbolizes the fall from stardom, Lee Min-ho represents exactly the opposite, the definitive consolidation as one of the biggest names in the Korean industry. Playing the arrogant and spoiled Gu Jun-pyo, he became a worldwide phenomenon after Boys Over Flowers. His curly hair, his air posture, and his romance full of ups and downs with Jeondae made him the fans' favorite, not only in Korea but in all countries where the drama was shown. Of course, not everything was easy for the actor. Just 2 years after the drama, he suffered a very serious car accident that almost ended his career. It was months of painful recovery and uncertainties, but his determination to return to acting was stronger. Shortly after, he returned to screens with even more intensity, participating in successes like City Hunter, The Heirs, Legend of the Blue Sea, and more recently, Pachinko, an international production that elevated his status even further. Today, in 2025, Lee Min-ho is much more than just a drama actor. He is a cultural icon of South Korea. His presence in commercials, events, and advertising campaigns is constant, and his face continues to be displayed as a synonym for prestige and sophistication. Time seems not to pass for him. His appearance, his striking smile, and his charisma continue to win over crowds. While some of his castmates struggle to stay relevant, Lee Min-ho remains at the top, showing that his place as Korea's #1 heartthrob hasn't been taken by anyone. Kim Bum played the irresistible So Yi-jung, the group's conquering playboy, and quickly became one of the audience's favorites. With his mischievous look, it seemed certain he would have a long career full of leading roles. And indeed, shortly after Boys Over Flowers, he got his first protagonist role in 2010, confirming many fans' expectations. However, fate would play a cruel trick on him. While still young, Kim Bum was diagnosed with osteoarthritis, a hereditary disease that affects his joints and causes constant pain. Treatment became part of his routine, limiting his ability to take on long and demanding jobs. This made him increasingly cast in secondary characters instead of leading roles. In 2011, his drastic weight loss worried fans and raised speculation about his health. The before and after image comparisons went viral on the internet, showing how much his physical condition had changed in a short time. Despite these difficulties, Kim Bum never completely abandoned acting. He participated in relevant dramas like That Winter, The Wind Blows, Tale of the Nine-Tailed, and its sequel, where he regained prominence. Still, his career never reached the stratospheric level that many expected when he emerged in Boys Over Flowers. In 2025, Kim Bum remains active, but his name doesn't have the same commercial strength as other Korean heartthrobs of his generation. Fans continue to admire him for his resilience and talent, but also regret that his health has limited his potential. Of all the cast members, his trajectory is perhaps the most marked by the contrast between promises and reality. A heartthrob who had everything to shine at the top, but had to learn to live within the limits imposed by life. Among the 4 members of the iconic F4, Kim Joon was always seen as the least outstanding. In the role of Song Woo-bin, the charming and protective mafioso, he gained space in some fans' hearts. But his trajectory after Boys Over Flowers followed a very different path from his castmates. While Lee Min-ho and Kim Hyun-jung competed for international spotlight, and Kim Bum established himself as the charismatic heartthrob, Kim Joon seemed to be a step behind, with a career that never really took off. Even before debuting as an actor, Kim Joon was already known as a member of the K-pop group T-Max, responsible for several songs on the Boys Over Flowers soundtrack. This musical work gave him momentary notoriety, but didn't translate into a lasting career in entertainment. After the drama ended, he appeared in a few TV projects and reality shows, but nothing that established him as a first-tier actor. Over time, the Korean industry was taken over by a new wave of stars, and his name simply stopped being remembered. The definitive blow came with mandatory military service. Unlike colleagues who managed to regain fame after enlistment, Kim Joon disappeared from the public radar. When he returned, the scene was already taken by younger actors, and he no longer found space. Gradually, his life took another direction. He married in 2015 to a woman outside the artistic world, and in 2017 became the father of a girl. This new personal phase also marked his choice to step away from stardom. Today, in 2025, Kim Joon lives a discreet life, away from the spotlight. Although he occasionally makes small appearances on television, he is no longer recognized by new generations as one of the members of the legendary F4. His story is of someone who had a brief moment of glory in one of Korean television's greatest phenomena, but chose to follow a more reserved path. For many longtime fans, he represents the nostalgic memory that not all actors made by the Hallyu wave were destined to remain under the spotlights. Some simply chose to disappear and live ordinary lives. The fate of the Boys Over Flowers protagonists shows how unpredictable fame can be. While some consolidated themselves as legends, others faced falls, scandals, or chose anonymity. But one thing is certain, they all forever marked the history of K-dramas. And now I want to know from you, which of these actors surprised you the most? Leave your comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.